Hello friends, this week we are in New York City and we're gonna go visit a ton of bookstores, so come with me. So as you may know, New York City is huge. It has a ton of really amazing bookstores that I've been to before, a bunch that I've never been to, and we are gonna explore while we're here for the week. My plan is to buy a book at each bookstore that somehow represents the vibe of the place. My goal is to find something that's recommended by one of the employees or in the featured section so we can get a good vibe of like the personality of each bookstore, and then at the end we'll do a big New York book haul. If you've ever been to any bookstores here, comment them below so that I can make sure that I visit them next time. But today on the agenda, we're going to The Ripped Bodice, which of course is a romance-focused bookstore in Brooklyn. It's super viral on TikTok, so I'm really excited to go. And the other one we're going to is called the Center for Fiction. They're both kind of in downtown Brooklyn-ish. So let's go. Okay, we just got back, time for a little haul. The first bookstore we went to was called Center for Fiction. It was so beautiful. They had a really big selection. It was kind of interesting because everything was like not multiple copies of stuff. So you gotta get in and get out if you want something. But they had a lot of really cool recommendations, really wide variety of genres. And like I said, I'm trying to pick books from the recommended section based on the people who work there. So I picked up Dawn by Octavia E. Butler. I was joking that this sounds like Ice Planet Barbarians, except for actually like an intellectual, smart version. So it's basically about a girl who was captured by aliens. Earth went into some sort of nuclear warfare and this alien race came and saved a couple of humans, put them into comas and took them away. And once the Earth is ready to go and ready to be safe for the inhabitants, they're gonna take her back and she's gonna help rebuild. It's not too long. It sounds really interesting. I believe Goodreads said this is one of the first female African-American authors who wrote about sci-fi. So sounds really interesting. But the Center for Fiction, super gorgeous, highly recommend going. They also had a cafe inside, which was really nice. And then apparently they also have a library slash workspace upstairs. That's like a members only situation. So if you live in the area and need a workspace, it might be a good place to check out. And then next we went to The Ripped Bodice, which I'm sure if you're on Book Talk, you've seen about The Ripped Bodice. The first two things I got were just like little fun stuff. This little sticker that says Bookish Girly, because that's me. And then for my ACOTAR girls, I got a Feyre print. Let's see. This is from Carrington Moore Studio. I'll put her Instagram in the description, but this is so pretty. And I'm gonna find a place for this in my office. So gorgeous, I love that. And then for the featured recommended section, they actually had a whole wedding area, which is like wedding themed books for some reason. So I picked up Happily Never After by Lynn Painter. I have never read Better Than the Movies, which everybody loves from Lynn Painter. I think she's normally a YA author, but this is a adult romance book from what I gathered. But it's basically about two people who get hired to go object at weddings. So when it says like speak now or forever hold your peace, these people are hired to do that and go object at weddings. And then I think it's about their love story together. I have heard mixed reviews on this, but it was recommended at The Ripped Bodice, so it must be good. I also want to mention that I actually went to two bookstores the other day, but my camera was dead. So I filmed a couple clips on my phone, but unfortunately both I wouldn't necessarily recommend. So I'm going to talk you through it. I'll put some clips in right now. But the first one was called Albertine. It was actually a really gorgeous bookstore in the Upper East Side. I think that it's a French owned place because a lot of the books were in French. The building was gorgeous. The area was gorgeous. So if you're in the area, it's great to go. I personally didn't love the selection. I also didn't love any of the featured books, so I didn't end up picking anything up because I didn't want to just like buy something I knew I wouldn't read. But the thing that's really special about it is the upstairs area. Oh my gosh, they have the most beautiful mural. They have, the whole place is beautiful. So if you just want to see a really pretty bookstore, I would definitely recommend Albertine. And then the other one that I was really excited for is called Book Off. It was more near Times Square, and it's like a used secondhand bookstore. They also have like movies and video games, and it's a really big store with a huge selection of secondhand books. I didn't find the biggest selection there, but I ended up finding a series that I was planning on reading. The price for a beat up used book was more than retail price. And so once I saw that, I said, this doesn't make any sense. And so I promptly left. So unfortunately, I would not recommend Book Off. I don't know if that was a fluke, but all of the books in that series were priced and they were expensive, and more expensive than they should have been, which I thought was weird. So yeah, but we're definitely gonna do more exploring tomorrow, so I will keep you updated. Hello, my friends, it's a new day. I'm out and about in Brooklyn. I'm actually going to a little store called Brooklyn Charm to make a charm necklace. I don't own any and I've been dying to go here. So after that, I'm gonna check out another bookstore, and then we're gonna hop on the train into the city. I wanna go to Strand, which is like a super popular New York bookstore, and the biggest Barnes & Noble in the US is also in New York, so let's go. Okay, as you can see, I'm back home now, but we have more books to go over. The first bookstore that I went to that day was actually called Leaves. I didn't end up getting anything. It was a secondhand bookstore, but they had a really good selection, especially in the fantasy section. There were a lot of Throne of Glass, a lot of ACOTAR books, and just other popular books that I've seen on Book Talk. So if you live in Brooklyn, it's definitely worth checking out before you buy anything new. And it was really pretty in there. The prices were very reasonable, so highly recommend Leaves. It was a very cute store. I didn't see any staff recommendations, and I wasn't called to anything, so I didn't pick anything up. But next we went to the biggest Barnes & Noble in the country, I believe, which is the Barnes & Noble in Union Square. It was literally huge. It had multiple floors. Unfortunately, the cafe was under construction when I went there, but it was so freaking hot that day that I just found a table to sit in. They still had like a nice sitting area, and I just read my Kindle and drank water because I was dying. But I ended up picking up A Winter's Promise, which the little blurb at the bookstore said, if you're a fan of Studio Ghibli, you would like this. And it said it was like a cozy steampunk fantasy, which sounds really fun. I've been kind of looking for more just like cozy, happy little reads. This one is a little bit thick, but I've heard really good things about this book, and Studio Ghibli is like the perfect vibe. So obviously I had to get it. It's about a girl named Ophelia who possesses two gifts: a talent for seeing into an object's past and the ability to travel through mirrors. Obviously, a lot of people want to take advantage of those powers, so I think it's the story of how that goes down. I believe this is part of a series. It's absolutely gorgeous. I'm so excited to put this on my shelf. I need to read this soon. I'm sorry, but look at that cover. This is stunning. Definitely the prettiest book that I picked up in New York. Okay, then I went to the Strand, which if you've been to New York, you probably have heard about this bookstore. It's super popular. It's literally always crowded, but I personally think it's worth going to. It feels very different than a lot of bookstores that I've been to. And again, this bookstore is huge. It's not big in space, but they have the shelves packed in there, man. It's just boom, 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 shelf after shelf. So definitely worth going to. I actually first got a little bookmark. Let me take it out here. This is like a little canvas bookmark. It's so cute. It is the New York City skyline with cats, because I am a massive cat person, if you didn't know. I also picked up this book called Furiously Happy by Jenny Lawson. I personally struggle with a lot of anxiety. I am medicated for it. I've been to therapy for it. It's something that really affects me. Not so much anymore, but as someone with anxiety, like that always sticks with you. And one thing that I've always done is use humor as a coping mechanism, which is exactly what this book sounds like. Oh. They also give you a cute free bookmark. I forgot about that. This author is basically exploring her lifelong battle with mental illness, and it just kind of pokes fun and tells funny stories about her depression and anxiety. The little blurb from the staff member was raving about this book. So I have high hopes for it. We'll see. I feel like comedy books are really hard because you might not vibe with their same comedic style, but I think I'm gonna like this. And also, like, look at this cover. It's so cute. The following day, we ended up going to one more bookstore, which is McNally Jackson. This is actually the Soho location. I'll include all the clips here. Again, my camera died, so I filmed all of this on my phone, but this was a beautiful McNally location. I've only ever been to the one that's in Williamsburg in Brooklyn, but they have quite a few different locations across the city. I really like McNally Jackson. It is a chain, but it feels very cozy while also having a lot of options. It's kind of like a Barnes & Noble, but elevated in a way. But the Soho location is stunning. They had a lot of unique little details, and I ended up finding a book that I've really been wanting to read. So the one I chose from there is 7 Days in June. This is by Tia Williams. It's also set in Brooklyn, which I was really excited about. I love Brooklyn. That's where I usually stay when I go to New York because I have friends there. And I've heard this book is really emotional. It sounds very good. It's about Eva and Shane. They are both authors, and back in the day, they spent kind of like a whirlwind week falling in love, romancing each other, whatever. And then something happens. They don't see each other anymore, but throughout the years they end up kind of writing to each other through their books, so you can tell that they're still thinking about each other. But then they end up reconnecting, and Eva's now a single mom. She's a little sketched out about Shane, but they end up spending another week together, so this seems like a very fun second chance romance. I don't know if it has a happy ending because I've heard this book is really sad, but I have to read this in June because, like, obviously the title. So there you have it. That is all the books that I got in New York City. I really want to start doing this as a series. We can probably do LA next because I live right near LA. I just think it's so fun to see the personality of different cities through books. Let me know where you think I should go next. I think Portland would be really fun. Nashville, any big cities, but also smaller towns that have a lot of bookstores. I don't know where we should go next. So comment what city I should go to next for this series and let me know which of these books I should read first. As always, thank you for watching. Make sure to subscribe, follow me here, TikTok, Instagram, wherever, and I will see you next time.